All right. If you're anything like me, you talk a lot, and I happen to use my voice a lot and more often. And when I'm going over my edits and stuff, and or just going over a show for review, you notice all these habits you have while speaking, some uh, ticks or mnemonic habits that you have. And I definitely noticed one in my day to day speaking that I find kind of funny, at least, and I think it's a product of having to always speak to people who are not that talkative, like in the types of environments that I find myself working at and stuff. Uh, so if you're anything like me, saying so also functions as a period at the end of a sentence. Like, give me an example. I'll just be going on, oh, yeah, and I think we should do this and get together and approach it like that. So, as if to just indicate to the other person that I'm done speaking and now I want you to hit me back with hit me back with something. Uh, so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the World According to Kyle podcast. How you doing, everybody? It's nice to be back. If you want to follow me on the interwebs, you can check me at TWA2K on YouTube, Kyleverse on Twitter, Kyleverse on TikTok, KyleMax86 on the IG, and TWA2K via Reddit. If you have questions or topics for the show that you would like to see covered, hit up one of my DMs and mention what you got to mention. As far as the show goes, you can catch me on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Also, I have a direct RSS feed. Yeah, boy. In the New Year's, I'm going to start, in 2023, we are going to go with video for our YouTube shows. So I think that's a change we need to make and would attract more YouTube audience and kind of like a vlog / meme type audience. So stay tuned for that, folks. We'll get you a picture going forward. But I did want to know, for those of you who are watching the show, I mean, I was wondering if during when I'm vlogging or doing like a podcast, should I just silence out the drinking, or should I make a habit to stop when I'm taking a drink? Or are you guys really that bothered when someone takes a drink? Like, is it or a brief pause, rather? Like, I could spend all the time just kind of clipping it together, but it's, I want to kind of make it both function as a podcast and a vlog. So let me know what you think. Do you prefer like pauses and quick edits, or just seamless conversation with a little bit of fuzzy things happening in between? So let me know what you feel, TWA2K fam, and we'll try to make it happen and make whatever works best for the flow of the show. Really is what I'm more concerned with. So right now we're watching. It's about Sunday, 5:30 on a Sunday, and we're watching the NFL games. Cincinnati's up 17-10. It's about to go into halftime, and it was a very crazy NFL week. It started like the NFL is drunk type of type of type of week with all the shit that was happening. Like I thought Philadelphia for a long part of the early portion of the slate for the first half of the slate and sometime after the first half, I thought both Philly and Buffalo were going to lose their respective games for not just like a blip for most of the game. And I texted my friend. I'm just like, the NFL is drunk right now because it just looked like it just looked like fucking like such random like, but things kind of stabilized, and both Buffalo and Philly ended up winning. But it was an interesting it was an interesting start nonetheless, and Buffalo, was still kind of trying to find its footing from the from the last two losses that they had. But everything kind of balanced out in the end. You can tell football like is a lot very balanced. Like if you do not show up to a game, then a team can just kind of play well and beat you that game, and that's any team, top to bottom. The best team in the league, has to have a solid. They can't just go fall asleep at the wheel and expect to beat the worst team in the league. You have to have your wits about you. In the Jets versus New England Patriots game, it was just like a defensive punt fest city and was absolutely ridiculous. Both the quarterbacks just looked awful. I own Zach Wilson in a fantasy league, and it's not looking great. I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt, and especially a super grain of salt, considering that the Patriots are they're built to fucking destroy young quarterbacks, and that's just what they do. That is it is the hardest to succeed as a young quarterback versus like a Patriots defense. So we gotta kind of take it game by game and see what happens. But I mean, there was just so many misreads and not getting the ball off fast enough and not taking the check downs. And the thing that I'm glad that with Wilson though is that it's mental stuff, and that can be fixed a lot easier than it's like he's too physically slow, but he has a great arm. He has a solid arm. He moves around well, and he just needs to get more instinctual and figure out what the right read is fast, and not kind of linger in a decision making process. I feel that that happened a lot of times where he was not sensing the pressure or the direction of the pressure, and he could have made the play extend easier if he had sensed where the pressure was going and made a move that would have been beneficial to the position of the players on the field. And he could have picked his decision making left a little to be desired, versus granted a defense that is meant to fuck with your head, and a defense that makes things hard for you if you do not mentally know what you're doing. But the positives that I do see out of Zach Wilson are his physical abilities and his balance between running and passing, his arm, and the only thing that's left is if he could just spend the next year just mentally improving his. Pittsburgh just scored. Pittsburgh just scored on 3rd and 9 before 1:47 left before the half. Kenny Pickett throws a lob up, but it looked like Ray McLeod was uncovered, giving us a little gritty at the end. Oh no, it was Pickens. It was Pickens. Oh geez. All right, we have a game. I didn't know it would be this kind of game. It looks very shootouty. The one thing with the NFL, and I tweeted this like maybe week 3 of the season, was that the NFL is a war of attrition, and it truly is. The other thing with this season is that the defensive play is just extraordinary. Is absolutely extraordinary. The number of defenders that I'm familiar with is unlike any other point in time in NFL history. I think that is a unspoken kind of element of these of the NFL seasons. But now that now that we prefaced all this with that, is I think the war of attrition now is starting to tilt, and the teams are less healthy, and everybody's going through their own battles of injuries and players that aren't on the field and substitute. Oh, you almost missed the extra point, but just hooked in. And substitute positions and stuff like that. So as the season goes on, I find it favors the offense, and that's kind of a working theory that I'm having right now. Is at the beginning of these NFL seasons, when everybody's healthy and everybody's in top shape, it's a lot harder to score. And teams are all healthy; they all have their ones out. Most of them, anyways. Unless you had an injury in preseason, but even that being said, 95% of your roster is probably healthy. So as the season goes along and more injuries happen, all of a sudden your team becomes like a funnel for exploiting weaknesses in certain positions of leverage that a team might feel that they have. So it is. I'm expecting these offenses to get a little better, but I don't want to hear any of the narrative that this is bad football being played. I think there's some incredible defensive football that's going a little underlooked in the grand scheme of things. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the game of the year that just happened recently between Buffalo and Minnesota. Now that game's a lot easier to forget, knowing that Minnesota is down 20-3 versus Dallas at home, and which with a questionable line that opened up at -2 for Dallas. What do they know? I guess I forget who the player was, but got injured. I think it was like a very important rookie draft pick, Christian Darrisaw. Yes, the O-lineman got injured, and that definitely with Parsons kind of created a matchup dynamic where it's just one of those does somebody know something that we don't know type of lines. So that was weird, but they knew something that we didn't know because Dallas is whooping their ass. So, yeah, the game of the year. And Minnesota did not have that great of a game, but the I think it is more about the flaws in Buffalo that the game really showcased that Buffalo's not this unbeatable juggernaut that everybody thinks it is. It had a couple of injuries and all of a sudden was very vulnerable, especially to the passing attack and having their own nice. Burrow picked up a nice first down on second and 10. And having their own issues on the running game, especially, and the passing game once Josh Allen starts to get a little flustered. And one thing with Allen is that I tell my friend is that he has these brain fart moments that are in pivotal times where he just does something really just boneheaded, and it's like you see somebody who knows they have their wits about you. Like they just look like a cold killer. They look like they're calculating, and like Justin or Josh Allen just he's kind of got like a deer in headlights look about him, even though he's a big guy. He's like you remember when Baker Mayfield was didn't have his helmet on? Ooh, T. Higgins just made a great catch, but he looks like he may have got injured on the play. That would be devastating. That would be devastating. So you know that Baker Mayfield's like when he's like smashing his bare head against the his fellow teammates' helmets. Josh Allen has that kind of like look to him like all the time. Like he's just constantly just you know just he's got his mind off and he is just like a body that is going to like wreck shit. And that is not that might be the trait of a successful linebacker or somebody, but I like for a quarterback you want a cold calculated killer in uh and it seems like that's kind of my read on the situation. And Burrow just throws in. I think a ball got tipped and he coughed up to Pittsburgh right after T. Higgins goes out. And it looks questionable as if T. Higgins is going to return after that play because he did not look too good. He did get off on his own will, I think, because a play happened too early after that. And yeah, definitely looks like it didn't touch the ground or anything. Looks like that's a pick. Wallace. Well, with T out, and that is not a good sign for the Bengals. That sucks because Chase will be coming back. Hopefully, whatever T has, it's not too bad. And I guess they're putting it under review because it's under 2 minutes, but I don't think there's any doubt. He cradles his hand underneath the ball, and he secures it. The ball didn't move. His hand was cradled underneath it. I don't see how it can be overturned, especially with call on the field. Oh, we need this one. We need this one for the TWA2K Bengals future to be in play. I mean, they can always go. They're the type of team that can always go on a heater, so it's not like the end of the world. But this would be 2 losses to Pittsburgh in division, and they really need this one. They really need this one. And another football thing I wanted to bring up was the Frank Reich situation. Former Colts O lineman, was it Jeff Saturday, has been announced as the coach, the new coach of the Indianapolis Colts, a left field hire, a hire out of left field by the owner Jim Irsay. And I don't. As far as the hire itself goes, and he's 1-1 and played a really close game with one of the best teams in the NFC, and probably should have won today. But who's to that's too small a sample size to know if Jeff Saturday will pan out in the end. But we'll see how the latter half of the season plays out. But the thing I wanted to bring up is that Frank Reich absolutely milked the fuck out of the Colts. Like, he stayed on in his position with the same strategy, with the same formula that just never grew to anything. It was always exactly the same. Get a super talented offensive line, good offensive pieces, good defensive pieces. Just draft the hell out of those spots. Ignore quarterback and keep hiring these borderline washed up / going to be washed up when they start playing with you type of projects, or already washed up and not admitting it. So they just keep taking on all of these guys, and they perform well. Like, you're getting a discount on a quarterback that might not have the physical talent that he had before, but has all of the mental traits that put him as a top level in his respective position. But the just physical traits aren't there. So he gets these guys that are really established and he knows are solid, but don't really put you over the top. And he goes and he gets these guys and they make the playoffs and they win the division every year. But they do not have a team that can possibly compete on a Super Bowl type of level. And they know that, and they did this strategy just relentlessly to a fault where it was just a joke. Like, where you're getting these quarterbacks who that they're not doing anything else. They've had they've had a shot at the pinnacle, like with Matt Ryan. They've had a shot at the top and with better situations and you're providing, and came up short. So of course they're going to come up short in the exact same situations. But the reason Frank Reich milked the Colts was because he never tried to do that one move or attach himself to a quarterback or a young quarterback, give up the picks for the young guy, and just always did enough to. It's like the Jimbo Fisher, but 2 extra wins basically, 2 to 3 extra wins in a playoff loss. So I think that is the formula if you want to just milk milk a team for as much money as possible. I think that is I think Frank Reich has set the framework for that to happen. All right, but let's move on to some other topics. We still kind of got the game on. Pittsburgh got a field goal before half, so it's 20-17. Grey Cup is tonight, actually. So Argos versus Blue Bombers. Blue Bombers beat our guy Nathan Rourke, TWA2K fave Nathan Rourke. But I'm hearing that he is getting scouted by some NFL teams, so 80% passer rating will do that. And CFL actually has talent. You know, they might not have the best rules, but they actually have talented players in the league. It's been around for a while and established, all that good stuff, right? So we got that on in the background, but there's a few other subjects uh, I wanted to get at with you folks, because there's always more to life than sports, more to life than crypto, more to life than life, obviously, because death, you know. But moving along, okay, I have this weird thing where this is supposed to be one of these like times where we're super worried about fucking diseases and super fucking paranoid about that stuff. But is anybody like me and has not gotten sick since like before the pandemic? And it's literally been that long. It's been like I have not gotten sick since before the pandemic. And I do not know if I've had COVID. And it's like all these people are getting sick around me, and I'm just like fucking normal. And like even my roommate was sick for a couple weeks with the RSV shit that was going around. And so there was that, and there was also the COVID, which I did get my shots. I didn't get them like right away, but I kind of like middle of the line, waited for it, got my 3 and my booster, so I only had 3. But I just haven't been I haven't been sick for like a single fucking day. Is this normal? Like, has anybody else been like this? I feel like it's kind of like we're more vulnerable to get sick now, or maybe just since we've just been like social distancing and that, and the masks in some certain places, maybe that was really creating like a environment in which things spread less. Now, there was one time when I was kind of like I wasn't I wasn't out of breath. I was just like breathing a little like slowly, but I did smoke like a shit ton of weed that night. So I at my friend's house we partied, and they get the hash going on and all that stuff. So like maybe I just it was just a vague shortness of breath. But I just feel so fucking weird. It feels like that. I feel like that dude in like Ex Machina, where like he wants to like cut himself open to see if he's a robot or not. I feel like I'm at that point where I just haven't been sick in so long that I just don't. It's weird. I don't know if it's weird to be not sick in this all in this type of environment right now, or if this type of environment makes it less likely to get sick if you already, generally speaking, eat good and exercise and all that jazz. Maybe I just got the perfect, health regimen. Maybe maybe this is like the new diet fad, where the TWA2K diet fad, where it just be 2 joints per day and a different random 6-pack of IPA or some just good tasting non-American beer, and football, NFL football every Sunday. What what else? What else, folks? A crypto addiction. Yeah. A tendency towards psychedelics on nights out. So maybe that is maybe that's a formula. has not been disproven yet, to my knowledge. It's really kind of almost a bummer because when you get sick, you have a lot of soup, and you look forward to just kind of having soup and cleansing like your body. But I feel like I haven't been having far less soup now that when I'm not getting sick. And I do like a good soup, but mostly I like to have hearty meals. But maybe that's one thing I miss about being sick is just making a big pot of like chicken noodle or Italian wedding or something like that, or some chili and turkey soup, and just really the turkey rice is really good, and just having like a big old pot of that for for 3 days while you start to get back to health. And speaking of soup, you guys see the soup the soup protests, and where these protests are getting into museums and like paint, and they go and they open a can of soup and they throw it at the painting. They empty out the can and like wash it over the painting. Now the paintings are for the most part, I believe, protected by the frames, so that unless you break the frame, then you cannot like damage the painting itself. So, and a lot of people are kind of in an uproar about the way that I think they're focusing on just the way that they're protesting. And but one of the protesters had mentioned that, and she had a great point, that our planet is fucked right now, and to draw attention by way of these paintings, like the paintings don't matter if our planet is not going to be around for those paintings to exist in. And just a thing that we're diverting the what we want to talk about with this thing, instead of addressing the issues that the people have and how we can make them better. You focus on the thing that they're doing in and of itself to kind of and start to pearl clutch over something that's very meaningless in the grand scale of things. And that's how you know that you're at least a semi-functioning democracy, is that you are allowed to do these things, protest. You have the right to protest, and you don't shut them up. So anytime you're going against that, then and clutching the pearls, and for the lamer the thing, the worse the pearl clutching, in my opinion, because these kids and these activists actually have a point towards what's going on here, and some thought about the direction we're going as a civilization, and what we can do to to ensure the survival of our species. It's important to have, even if we don't end up doing anything about it, which is likely going to be the case. The forces of capitalism are too strong at this point to be able to fix anything. And even the people who are saying they are against this, against these protests, or against this form of capitalism, embrace it the most. And that's kind of a working theory, another TWA2K working theory, hashtag if you will, is that the Alex Jones situation, and that how even Elon Musk who just reinstated Trump today, is distancing himself from Alex Jones. Oh, T. Higgins is back on the field, thank goodness. So even Elon is distancing himself from Alex Jones. Now, I have a TWA2K working theory about Alex Jones. Now, I think that in order to understand Alex Jones, you have to understand the kind of conspiracy movements online in like the early 2000s and 2010s, and in order to completely understand Alex Jones, if you're around at that time and watching some of the stuff that was coming on online, so my working theory is that Alex Jones plays up the conspiratorial element of his personality in order to make it look ridiculous. Because that's exactly what has happened. He became the popular show, and I think Alex Jones maybe was one of these guys he's conspiracy, but he's super pro right winger. And if anybody was like in on any sort of conspiracy cover up, organized crime, if anybody is probably right wingers. Am I wrong? It would just seem like that's more the case. But so I think that Alex Jones is like super pro capitalist, and I think some of the stuff he was seeing online was in his mind kind of worrying, and like we have the internet has this potential to unify people and create a better, more unified world. And so Alex Jones, in being a brainwashed right-wing maniac, decided that the best way to beat his enemy, his perceived enemy, which would be like unification, globalism, etc., the stuff that they always point out is, despite being the biggest reflectors of those negative traits that they say. So Alex Jones decides to he decides that the best way to beat his perceived enemy and score one for the perceived good guys, Western democracy / capitalism, is to become a representative of what he thought had the power to change the world, and decided to make it look completely fucking Looney Tunes, and to destroy it from within by becoming by identifying with these conspiracy movements. And it was an interesting transition, I'm just saying, that took place in that time period where the conspiracy movements were starting to come up with ideas as to how we could physically, infrastructurally, I should say, have a better system than what we have now. They were addressing the real problems, like the core issues, and you just don't see those anymore. And I think who knows the legitimacy or lack thereof from said actor, and who knows how much of that had an impact in discrediting, I don't want to say modern conspiracy movement or attach anybody who is trying to come up with systems that the world would operate better, more unified. I don't want to conflate the two, but there there is there is an overlap in, I guess, the types of people that think that and I think that I don't think there's quote a conspiracy. I think there are conspiracies, and it's for like capital gain and shit. As stated before here, I don't think like JD Rockefeller is going to his calendar and going, okay, today is the day we today is the day we unleash the transsexuals. Like, I don't think that this is sane to think is happening, but I do think there are little conspiracies along the way, and there are conspiratorial things that happen, but it's on a much smaller scale. It's on a micro scale. It's not on like a macro scale. Like, I once again, I will restate. I think if you think that it is happening on some sort of macro level like that, that you are giving humanity way too much credit than it deserves. And for by and large, we are very reactionary. We do prepare for things, but as things happen, it seems far less that they are very planned out, and that it is more kind of us reacting to shit that's going on, doesn't it? Like, why am I the crazy one to feel that people think I'm the weird one for feeling that there's no just grand conspiracy playing out. I think this seems like we're just kind of like it does seems like a very ill planned out plan, does it not? It seems like we're just kind of reacting, like things are going on. Things are going on and we're doing stuff about them after they happen. Because we just seem to get caught off guard so much. So much. But that's besides the point, and I'm digging my heels, and that is the working theory of the TWA2K show, is that, I believe it was a guy off the Majority Report, Sam Cedar, who said that, what did he say, is that if Alex Jones didn't exist, that the CIA would have created him anyway. And that is kind of that does kind of perfectly encapsulate, in my mind, the situation that is kind of unfolding with Alex Jones. Because if you're around and paying attention to the internet in the early 2000s and late 90s, about the kind of conspiracy stuff and the a kind of Star Trekian kind of unified worldview, kind of the seeds of that getting planted. I just think it's too much of a matter of convenience, and I look at Alex Jones and the type of person that he is, and it just kind of, it's kind of one of those things where, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. So I guess we'll see. We shall see over the course of time, because we have no way of knowing unless anything leaks. So we'll see. We'll keep that as an open theory, unless I want to be like disproven otherwise. It seems like that type of personality, like an extreme right wing dude who's super pro capitalist, is also like super conspiracy and believing in like blowhorning about all the crazy conspiracy theories, even the ones that are like super Looney Tunes. Seems a little convenient, right? Like a convenient personality archetype to discredit the modern conspiracy slash people who want civilization to people who have higher desires for civilization and their role as a person within said civilization. And like that's why I get worried about a lot of this like mental health stuff. Is I got suspicions that it could evolve into something um, very crappy and authoritative and fascistic. Like my position on mental health and diagnoses and stuff is that the main manual that they use to diagnose psychiatric conditions is the DSR, and it has multiple versions of it. But the only problem with that is that the DSR, like in former versions, even like I think like 15 or 20 years ago or 25 years ago, classified like homosexuality as a mental disorder, and that they still classify. Oh, nice! Bengals picked up a 3rd and 5 to Hayden Hurst, and they still, I think, classify transsexualism as a mental disorder. So, like, I rail against mental health not because I think like uh, not because I think lightly of it, but I just realize that it's impossible to gauge at the moment based on where we are where we are with technology. It's just uh, there's no there's no evidence that these things are that psychotropic drugs are the treatment for depression, or how to what is the best way to go about alleviating depression, or because even they say the drugs that they come out with are for like 5% of the people they end up being prescribed to, which is Joe Bro drops one to T Higgins. Oh, drops a bomb into T. Thank God that man is okay. Let's go. Bengals 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. So the reason why I often will be against these sorts of or not against, but let's just say skeptical of anything mental health related is because I know it's all kind of bullshit, right? I know it's all kind of guessing that this might work and not really knowing. Joe Burrow keeper. Oh, down to the one. I thought he was going to run that in. Fuck. I like that play call, though. And I've been hating on Zach Taylor, but I think that I've seen been getting noticeably better. He challenged a couple plays and he didn't get away with, or he didn't. The ref didn't see it his way, but I mean there were the right challenges, and he's calling the offense a little bit better. So we'll see. All right, they're in empty or no single back. Joe Burrow boots out, throws it, touchdown. Hurst or no Taylor. Oh, Trent Taylor. Beauty, what a throw by Burrow. Irwin, nice catch. That was a laser. I think guy was plastered all over him. Let's watch. He's going like he's doing a hook around the back of the right end zone. He goes. Yeah. Joe Rivers puts it on the money. What a catch. What a catch, Burrow. I think that was his third touchdown for today. Let's go. McPherson get this extra point. Perfect. 24-20 Bengals. 7:02 in the third Q. Let's go. I didn't even think they were going to win this game because TJ Watt back and Jamar Chase out. But, man, Burrow just finds a way. People have been all over trying to get me to trade him in my fantasy league. Nuh-uh. A guy offered me, what did he offer me? Justin Fields and a first for Burrow and a fourth. No. So now that they scored, we can go back to our discussion. They had a so yeah. I just worry about the potential abuses that can happen where we're treating things that don't need to be treated, where we're overprescribing like medication. And yeah, a lot of people had mentioned that these drugs are fucking with kids' like personalities and turning them into different people. And I just that is why I kind of am always skeptical. I felt like I might have had depression before, but I kind of went about natural routes to improving my life, like little things, like just trying to live a better, more balanced life, and treating myself better, and instead of trying to go, hey doctor, this and that. I was like, I think everybody should at least try to do owes it to themselves to. Now there's different cases where somebody is clearly like schizophrenic or clearly has mental issues, where the mask of the pharmaceutical that they put over it is beneficial to that person's well-being. But generally speaking, find that it's overprescribed, and it's to the point where it's creating imbalances in the education system. And that, like, if you're not on shit ton of Adderall, you're gonna get worse grades than the person who is, and turns into just a different type of different type of drug circle. And not only that, but here, let me read to you, which I found noteworthy. Let me read to you right now the reasons to be admitted to an asylum in Virginia in the time periods between 1864 and 1889. Okay, so like 150 years ago ish. So let's go over it now, shall we? It's like 200 years ago, but whatever. That not the point. But let's just less than 500 years ago, our civilization, like in terms of how long we've been around, which is arguable based on our whichever evolutionary quirk you feel best resembles our being called human. So less than 500 years in our development, this was reasons to be admitted to an asylum, over which lobotomies were likely performed on you. So these were things that could potentially get you admitted to asylum. Buckle up, folks. Impertinence and business trouble. Kicked in the head by a horse. Hereditary predisposition. Ill treatment by husband. Imaginary female trouble. No, that's convenient. Hysteria. Immoral life. Imprisonment. Jealousy and religion. Laziness. Marriage of son. Okay, maybe I would agree with that on its own. Masturbation and syphilis. Oh, shit. Masturbation for 30 years. So 30 years masturbating, then you get admitted into asylum. Okay. That's nice to have a round number. Continuing along. Medicine to prevent conception. Menstrual deranged. Menstrual deranged means you have deranged menstrual cycle. I don't really want further clarification on that. Let's just say I could go on a Wikipedia endeavor, but let's memory hole that. Continuing along, mental excitement, novel reading, nymphomania, convenient, opium habit, yeah, I'd be fucked. Overaction of the mind, yep, definitely fucked. Overstudy of religion, okay, there's something that's probably useful. Overtaxing mental powers. Parents were cousins. Periodical fits. Tobacco and masturbation. That is the third time masturbation has been brought up. Oh, since you already got the ball back up 22-24. Okay, let's political excitement. There we go. There's that's what you would expect on there. Politics. Oh, did Burrow get picked off? I think he got picked off. By what? Let's see here. Yeah, I just got scooped up. That sucks. Okay. Continuing along. Religious enthusiasm. Fever and loss of lawsuit. Fit in desertion of husband. Fits in desertion. Deserting husband. Asthma. Just straight up asthma. Okay, bad enough you have asthma, but you can be fucking admitted for it. Bad company. That is very just. I think you could shoehorn a lot of things into bad company. Bad habits and political excitement. That's the second time political excitement. Bad whiskey. Bad whiskey can get you admitted to a mental institution in the late 1800s, 17th century. So, continue along. Bloody flux, whatever that means. Brain fever, business nerves, carbonic acid gas, congestion of brain, death of sons in war. Okay. So that's adding injury to insult. Decoyed into the army. Deranged masturbation. Desertion by husband. So that was half of them. That was just half of them. No, Pittsburgh's got a 3rd and 4. Hopefully we can stop them and hold them to a field goal. Would be ideal. Bengals stacking the box here. Getting pressure. And Kenny Pickett throws a duck. 4th down. Okay, I'll take it. All right. Let's do the other half. The other half of the reasons that you could get admitted into an asylum in Virginia, late 17th century. Dissolute habits, domestic affliction, domestic trouble, dropsy. What the fuck is that? I actually want to look this one up. DROPSY. DROP. SY. Let's actually look that one up. That one drops C. Dropsy. Dropsy, epidemic dropsy is a clinical state characterized by edema resulting in use of edible oils adulterated with Mexican poppy. Oh, okay, so this is basically just a drug-induced like psychological effect. All right, 23-24. Bengals getting ball back. Okay, continuing along. Egotism. Okay, well, hey, if there's one we could bring back, maybe this would actually help help a lot of problems in the world. Epileptic fits, excessive sexual abuse, excitement as officer. Okay, exposure and hereditary, exposure and quackery, exposure in army. Just to get the three main categories of exposure, apparently. Fever and jealousy, fighting fire, suppressed masturbation, suppression of menses, the war, time of life. It was just your time of life to get admitted to the asylum. Uterine disarrangement, venereal excesses, vicious vices, women trouble, superstition, shooting of daughter, smallpox, snuff eating for 2 years, spinal irritation, gathering in the head, greediness, grief, gunshot wound, adding insult to injury, hard study, rumor of husband murder, just for the rumor of a husband murder. Like, this isn't the time where they burnt witches, and we essentially have no greater of an understanding of mental health. We have very marginally, no, because it's all just guessing games nonetheless. Let me read off the last couple of these before. Hard study, we already did that. Self-abuse, sexual abuse and stimulant, sexual derangement, false confinement, feebleness of intellect, fell from a horse in war, female disease, and dissipation of the nerves. Now, I don't know about you, but I fucking ticked off a good chunk of those. And like I said, even though it was 200 years ago, it was still like a we still do not have a really great or significant we don't have a significant leap in understanding what makes us tick mentally, and well, we might, but it just might not really be in our control or in our ability to do anything about. And we just have these pills that just mask problems instead of really truly making things better. So I just wanted to clarify that. Like, I have a lot of people, if I say something on Twitter or I'm coming at it feels like I'm coming at an organization, or I just worry about the acting like we know everything about these things, that it could end up in a scarier place than just the effects of these things in and of themselves. So the Bengals game is just wrapping up. I got my fingers crossed. Go Bengals. Hopefully we can squeak this one out. Joe Burrow looks great nonetheless. The offensive line, Cordell Volson, it's wide open, man. And if they can just go on a nice little run and secure their spot in the playoffs, after that, anything can happen. We'll put a pin in it there. That's that's enough for this one. We'll see you on the next one. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that was The World According to Kyle podcast. Have a good one, everyone. Take care, y'all. Bye.